Got everything going on here. And hello and welcome everybody to this episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. I am IndyCar Tim along with my partner,
Big Red.
And you guys don't even know what a miracle this is that we are broadcasting right now. We've been sitting in here for over an hour trying to hook up the Facebook Live and sync everything together. You think we're a bunch of grandpas that have no freaking clue what we're doing here. But we made it.
We made it. It was I don't know that I've ever been any more frustrated. Of course, I think Stacy would disagree with a lot of that statement because I've been a lot more frustrated. But
you were frustrated tonight. There's no question.
I think what happened originally was the spilling of 2 beers, and that really kind of started our night. I mean,
so I'm trying to hook up to the Wi-Fi. I'm trying to hook up to Lance's Wi-Fi because we're in his garage here at Studio 69 at Casa Not So Grande. And he's trying to give me his phone to show me the Wi-Fi password. And as he does, my beer was here, knocked over my beer. And as we both reached over to catch it, we knocked over his beer as well. It's not a pretty sight.
So no, that's when the frustration started. And then we couldn't, just being too old, non-technical, not as technical as we used to be, guys. But yeah, we're live and we're cooking now. So
who knew that Facebook was in bed with Chrome? I did not know that.
Well, we do now.
This is the only laptop trust me, I own 6 computers at home. This one I rarely use. It did not have Chrome on it. We could not figure out how to broadcast on Facebook Live because it kept giving us an error message that we had to download Chrome. And I can't believe that you can't broadcast on Facebook Live without Chrome. But we downloaded Chrome, and look, 2 minutes later, everything's working fine. So we apologize for being 20 minutes late to start this bitch. But we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, we have to get the formalities out of the way. Hello, drunk dudes and dolls, and hello, drunk sports podtards. As I mentioned, we are live at Studio 69 at Casa Not So Grande. This is episode 6. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot has happened this week. And we'd like you guys to interact with us on Facebook Live. We are live right now on Facebook Live, and we can see your comments this time. We could not before, but we definitely can now, and we'd like to talk to you, and we'd like to hear from you. Let us know what you think, but you got to be nice. That's a rule. If you don't be nice, then we're not going to – actually, that's a lie. We'll interact with anybody at this point. Just tell us you're listening and watching, and we'll be happy. If you guys would like to reach out to us on social media, we are both on Twitter at IndyCarTim and at DrunkBigRed. The show Twitter is at DrunkSportsDFW. We also have an email address at the Drunk Sports Podcast at gmail.com. And that's the best way to reach us if you're not watching us live on Facebook right now. It's been about a week since we broadcast. We did do the last episode we had was the Masters preview. We are definitely going to get in this exciting Masters for 2019. Not sure if anyone really watched or knows who won yet, but we're going to be able to tell everybody.
How about that?
Yeah, history was made. We're going to talk a little Dirk. Dirk retired. That's a big story locally. And if funny thing is, if you were with me and Lance watching that last game, there's a lot of SportsCry going on and a lot of emotions. We weren't necessarily the most macho of men that night.
Standing here in the garage with the lights off, the TV was on, and just them going through that retirement ceremony, and his heroes being there in front of him, and that brought back a lot of memories, man. It was cool.
There was a lot of hugging going on that night. I remember too, and rightfully so, man. Dirk's meant a lot to us, but. First things first, we need to give some apologies and corrections. We don't have a lot. I have a big one, however. I have to personally apologize. If you guys were listening to episode 4, it was my birthday. Hey, Veronica. It was my birthday at Firehouse 52, and things got a little out of hand, you might say. I might have overindulged on the air during the recording.
I think we did. I think we both did. And yes, but that was a big apology goes out to those of you that were part of that. And this will be different. we'll change it up a little bit and try to tighten this ship up and get going in the right direction.
So I apologize for my my behavior on episode 4. Like I said, it was my birthday. There were shots being bought for me and drinks being bought for me many times over. We appreciate everybody coming out again to Firehouse 52. I want to mainly apologize for my John Daniels rant. We were talking Rangers, and we were talking starting pitching.
Right.
And I had I don't know how many shots in with your, what do they call little red smokies?
The red smokers.
Little red smokers. Oh, my God. And then just bourbon and beer and whiskey being bought for me.
There might have been a tequila shot thrown in there, too.
Definitely was tequila. So, I went off on John Daniels, screaming at the top of my lungs from the corner of that poor bar, and people reacted, and it was not pretty. So, I apologize profusely profusely
There you go.
for that. Dude, I respect John Daniels in a professional manner. That, what was he, 12 when he took over as GM?
What is he now, 17?
17 probably now. He's done a lot of good things for this organization. He's had some misses, but you know what? They all do. I think for the most part, he's done a fine job bringing this team to where it is, and through the World Series and playoff years, and hopefully years to come, working with Woody, they're going to be a good team, and I hope things work out. So I apologize for that. First and foremost. The second thing I have to apologize for is I forgot Big Red's Twitter handle when I was closing the show or opening the show. I don't remember what it was, dude.
I'm kind of stealth on Twitter anyway. So until that starts picking up a little bit, and if it ever does, and that's great. If not, that's great too. I'm fine with it. I just kind of like being under the radar sometimes.
Yeah, but as your partner, I should know your Twitter handle, and I don't think it was a matter of me just being drunk. I think I just forgot that it was at Drunk Big Red. Everybody follow at Drunk Big Red. He's an interesting follow and an interesting fellow, no pun intended. Then the last thing we have to apologize for is for episode 5. We were previewing the Masters, and we were both talking about how much money these guys make. Neither one of us could really remember precisely when the season started. We said maybe October, maybe November, but of course it was October 15th is when the actual PGA season started. So we wanted to clarify that because we are all about facts, and we are not about lie. That's not true. We just pretty much say whatever we want.
We do.
We go from there.
If it comes to our head, then our wives will tell you that we have no filter, and it just comes out.
God Almighty, there is no filter involved whatsoever. So that'll wrap up apologies and corrections. I do want to give a couple of shout-outs, even though we're not in front of a live audience, but we have to give a shout-out to the Virginia men's basketball team winning the national championship over over Texas Tech. Good God, that's going to be on next week's apology.
Yep, there you go.
Over Texas Tech. And I'm going to get a lot of crap from Tech fans because we were watching with a bunch of Tech fans that night at our bar, Firehouse 52. But, so congrats. It was a good game. Tech came back late in the game, and there were some kind of sketchy calls, maybe that went Virginia's way, but I think that was kind of the story through their entire tournament, that they had some sketchy calls and sketchy out-of-bounds rulings.
Right.
So, it's appropriate they won that way. I hate that for Tech. They're a local team somewhat. But you know what? I don't really have a dog in that fight, and Virginia played well, and they won. Next shout-out, because there's not just a Final Four in college. There's also what's called the Frozen Four. And it's not as popular, but I probably follow it more than the basketball. Lance, did you know there was a Frozen Four?
I knew there was a Frozen Four, but I could not tell you who was in it. But I would venture a guess that Boston College was in the mix.
Not this year.
They're not.
They're not this year.
They're usually in the mix somewhere down the line. But no, I have no idea.
So Minnesota Duluth are the champions.
And what is their mascot?
Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
They are the Bulldogs.
What does a Bulldog do on ice?
We're going to have to
slide around and
we're going to have to fact check that too, because I'm pretty sure that's the case. And actually, I did not have an NCAA tournament bracket for men's basketball, but did you know that I did have a Frozen Four bracket going?
Who else do you know that has that follows the Frozen? So I'm assuming that you won, since it was a bracket of one.
I did not.
So you paid $5 to get in, and you won a grand total of $5.
I did not win because I had UMass and Denver in the finals, and that did not hit either way. But again, congratulations to Minnesota Duluth for that feat, that accomplishment. And man, I'll tell you what, college hockey is underrated, dude. If you're a fan of the pro hockey, you ever watch international hockey like during the Olympics?
Yes.
So you know the rink's bigger, longer, and wider.
The Europeans like their space.
That's what they play on in college.
Right.
It's the international rink, and dude, it is amazing and it is fun. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Elliott. How you doing, sir?
Good to have you with us. Yeah, Lance, take those glasses off. You look a little. Or wait, you want me to put mine on, and we'll be a little equal there.
Well, dude, if I take the glasses off, I won't be able to see the damn screen.
There.
So give me a minute.
We'll go with that.
Now we look educated.
You do that. Veronica's probably watching.
Veronica doesn't care.
So on the spreadsheet on the run sheet for tonight. Good God Almighty! On the run sheet tonight, we don't have a lot. We were trying to keep it simple. We're going to talk a little Dirk. We're going to talk some Stars playoffs. They're probably playing right now, actually, right behind me, if there weren't music. And we're going to talk, of course.
Well, the Rangers were on there a minute ago, so
That's true, the Rangers and the Angels. So we're going to talk after that. We saved it for last. The Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
hello, friends.
And, dude, it was, man. Good God, but we'll get into that.
Back to old school, man. Back
Dude.
to old school. It was fun. It was fun.
So many emotions going on with all that shit. So Lance, let's talk some Dirk, brother. We were here watching that together. It was the last home game that we watched together, not the San Antonio extravaganza. But we watched the last part of it, and, dude, emotions just not just because it's Dirk and what he means locally to the community and to the team and really to all of North Texas, but 21 years. I don't know how old you are. You're probably 35, as far as I can guess. But when Dirk came,
nine going on 50.
So when Dirk came into the 98, was it when he was drafted by Milwaukee, traded here to Dallas for Robert Tractor Trailer? That was a great move, by the way.
Still did.
Still did.
Bless his soul.
Great college player, did not translate to the NBA. But, you know, thinking about where I was personally in 1998 and just that I carried this person with me for 21 years as a fan. That never happens in Dallas. You know, for someone to be with an organization in Dallas for 20, that's never happened, right?
Doesn't happen much at all in sports anymore, especially with the advent of free agency and people running and jumping from team to team. So, yeah, it's something that doesn't happen anymore, and it's good to see. And we were blessed to have him as part of our part of the Mavs organization and part of our life,
part of the community and everything.
I think I saw a picture that was pretty fitting, and it was Dirk and Kobe and what was his name from the guy that just killed us every year from the Spurs,
Ginobili?
No,
Duncan.
It was the three of them, and three guys that spent a long time, one team, and all they gave to those franchises. And hopefully we've got another one, you know, here now with
a couple of them, hopefully,
with Luka and some of those other guys that can stick around and help us out and make this thing stick.
So, you know, there are a lot of emotions about
Sure,
Dirk, just because he didn't really announce his retirement until after that game.
And let's go for that. Let's go with that for a minute. There's been a lot of flack out, and you know, a lot of people, you being one, that wasn't real happy with the fact that Dirk didn't make a formal announcement, but you know as well as I do that, you know, I think you just kind of being a little bit of a shock jock there for a minute, but he's very private. He's very kept to himself. He's very family oriented. He doesn't. I guarantee you, the last person that want to be standing in the middle of that floor at AAC with his four heroes on the floor with him was Dirk. That man did not want to be there. You could see it on his face.
Dude, I think the fact that they were there, and let's rehash who it was. It was Barkley, Pippen, Bird,
and Kemp.
And Sean Kemp, which I thought was interesting, but I get it. I guess I get it. But, you know, had they not been there, I think that would have been one of the most uncomfortable moments of his career, of his life. But you know, reading things after the fact, he didn't know they were going to be there.
That's cool. That's cool.
I heard stuff on local radio that Barkley was in town, and we just kind of assumed that it was for that, because they also had Steve Nash there at the game before, and Michael Finley, his teammate, two favorite teammates ever,
Filthy, dirty, and nasty.
other than damn Brian Cardinal, who's best friends with Dirk at this point for some reason.
The janitor.
I love the janitor. But he had no clue that they were going to be there from all that I can gather. And just imagine the moment for him when they were introduced. And it's just, I can only imagine for him. And it's funny, I didn't see him shed a tear. I saw him maybe, well up a little bit. But
we did the next night.
Well, exactly.
And that was odd, but I think that not jumping to the next game, but that situation there in San Antonio, the battles that the man had, and the passion that was on the court, and the outpouring of emotion from the crowd to Dirk that night. I think that tipped it over for him, and I think he realized, man, it's the last time we're going to lace him up. And
especially from the most bitter of conference rivals throughout his career, the Spurs. So, yeah, I mean, we can get into that a little bit. And there's two things about this that I want to get into. The fact that Greg Popovich, who I can't stand that man because he's the freaking coach of the Spurs, but good God almighty, do I love that man.
He's a great coach. I mean, he's one of the best in the business.
And the tribute that they showed for everybody that saw it for Dirk before the game, again, unexpected. He had no clue. I don't think anybody knew this was going to happen in the Mavericks organization. The fact that they showed, and it was really, the videos were of Dirk owning the Spurs, including that playoff series in 2006. And pretty much every highlight was him dunking on Ginobili or driving past Parker or doing that one-legged fadeaway jumper over Duncan.
The flamingo.
And so it was, I could see where he would be touched by that. And it was something to see. And he did tear up. He was visibly shaken, wiping tears from his face on camera.
It's cool.
But you know what? I hate the Spurs, but dude, props and class act to that organization for giving him that send away. Absolutely, sir. So, the most fitting and most interesting thing about that night is, do you realize that night, his final game in the NBA of his career, took place probably 100 to 200 yards from where his career began here in the United States?
Hemisphere Arena?
San Antonio Hemisphere Arena. Remember why?
No, probably wouldn't.
It was called the Hoop Heroes Tour by Nike in 1998. So the team that Dirk was on, representing Europe or the world, played against NBA stars. Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, again, there's a connection there. And they played a 30-minute demonstration game in that arena. Right. Against the pros of the NBA. He also played another game against the future stars of the NBA, against a college all-stars team that they also beat. But Dirk dominated that game. And he was 18. He was only listed at 6'11" back then. But dunking over Barkley, driving past Pippen. Of course, who knows how hard they were trying as an exhibition game.
Hey, Cliff, this is for you.
But, I think a lot of respect was garnered for him in that game by the pros. And by the way, that's the first time Donnie ever saw Dirk, was at that game. And he knew he had to have him.
Yep.
So, Barkley, a quote from Barkley after watching that game.
I was going to bring that up.
He said, the boy is a genius. If he wants to enter the NBA, he can call me. I'll make it happen.
Well, I think that before he wanted Dirk to come to the NBA,
he wanted Dirk to play with him.
The first thing he told Dirk was, we want, if you want to come to the States to play basketball, we need to talk about Auburn. He wanted to get him.
Oh, he wanted him to play for Auburn.
He wanted him to play for Auburn more than anything.
Yeah. No, rightfully so.
And that's, that's mad props whenever a man of Barkley's stature wants you to go to his alumni or his college and play for his school. And another great showing from Auburn this year.
Yeah.
You know, I was proud to see that and seeing.
Wait, why were you proud to see a good showing from Auburn?
For Chuck, I mean,
For Chuck, yeah.
Chuck's always been a hero of mine. I had posters on my wall,
Really?
you know, growing up, and I even had a poster of him in my dorm room in the Air Force. And
In his Philadelphia days, or
Yes.
going into the Suns?
he was in his it was the poster of him in his Sixers uniform, standing on the rim, leaning up against the backboard, and all the poster said was "Get off my backboard."
Well, he was the round mound of rebound.
Round mound of rebound.
He is still a round mound. He is not rebounding anybody.
He's a little rounder.
He's a little rounder, but dude, his mouth still works. And I'll be honest,
Rounded the shape.
I was not a Chuck fan. I was not a fan of him as a player.
Because you were scared.
I couldn't stand the mouth and the attitude. You know why? Because that's me. That's my job. Let me be the mouth and the attitude. But you know what, dude? As soon as he became a commentator,
He's one of the best in the business.
I'm like, dude, that is my favorite commentator right now.
Him and Shaq are funny, man.
Oh God, dude, they are the best
They
duo
play off
on
well
TV.
each other, man. It's fun.
And it's funny because he said, if recently when Dirk announced his retirement, I don't know where I read this. Chuck said something about, if he wants to come on to TNT, I'm sure I can either get rid of Shaq or Kenny Smith.
Can you imagine Dirk trying to being all personable and being in front of the camera all the time? I think the dude would probably hide behind a poster board or something.
He would be so uncomfortable.
And just talk under the table.
He would be so uncomfortable. So
probably feel like I do right now. I need to go hide somewhere.
well, you haven't had enough to drink yet.
Well, we were too busy fighting this
We were
camera.
too busy fighting with technology, and you know what? You never win the fight against technology. So Dirk Werner Nowitzki or Nowitzki, I've never really understood which one it is because I keep hearing both. We love you, brother. Thank you so much for all the years, all the memories. And you know what? I have two things to thank you specifically for. I would like to thank you for the championship because, brother, that was all you.
First and foremost. Dude, yeah, one of the perfect meme that came out during that series.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody calm down. I got this.
I got this. And he was right.
I got this.
And he was right. The other thing I would like to thank you for, Dirk, is thank you for your sports loyalty. You have done something that is rarely seen, maybe never seen in the sports world today, and you demonstrated loyalty for whatever reason. I'm sure you have your reasons. To one team, to an owner, and to all of your coaches you were loyal to for 21 years. And that whole 41-21-1 thing, I don't know who came up with that, but that's genius.
Genius, yep.
And, you don't see that. Kobe, he didn't play 21 years, but Kobe was loyal to one team. But I don't know that Kobe ever took less money from the Lakers to allow other players to come in.
Did not. He always took more, and that's what handcuffed him in the end. But
absolutely, and there's
he had a plan, and it didn't work out for him. One to add to what you're saying is in thanking Dirk is I would like to thank Dirk for not being the Mavs Dwayne Wade. Thank you for not doing all the shit that man has done and being the class act that you are and propelling this organization to the top of the charts and always being classic, because that's why we watch sports, is to see the class and the hard work, and we thank you. And Dirk, here's to you, buddy. Thank you so much. Get another one, Timmy.
And it's funny. I saw a deal on Facebook about Dwayne Wade's last game, and there was a contingency of players there. I couldn't tell you who it was.
I bet they were all paid.
But I can tell you who it wasn't. It was not Sean Kemp, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, and Scottie Pippen.
Larry the Legend.
I still can't get over that, man. That is so amazing. So thank you, Dirk. We appreciate you, brother, and there will never be another. And we're going to get into, in a future episode, because Lance and I have a lot of thinking and debating to do about this. I want to get into, God, this might even be overdone. I don't know. I want to get into a DFW Sports Mount Rushmore.
We may need to add a head, but yeah, we can definitely talk about it.
And we'll discuss it. There's no question Dirk will represent the Mavs.
He could possibly be the George Washington of the Mount Rushmore for
the most obvious no-brainer for any Mount Rushmore ever.
Right.
That's ridiculous. So, the Dirk retirement thing's not the only thing happening in the world today and in DFW. Our Dallas Stars are in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time since 2016 against a somewhat superior foe in the division rival Nashville Predators. But I'll tell you, they're kind of holding their own. I don't know, Lance, if you were able to watch any of those. The first two games, the first game was amazing. I watched it intentionally alone in my house in a dark living room with the sound turned all the way up. And I have a 55-inch TV in my living room, and I sat like 4 feet away from it just so I could watch everything and take in everything. And I'll tell you, of course, they won game one. They stole home ice from Nashville in game one. Dude, they played amazing. I was shocked. It's a good matchup for Dallas anyway, and of course Ben Bishop stood on his head. And the power play for the Stars struggled, the power play for the Preds struggled, but I feel like where Dallas excelled was in the even strength play. Dallas was quicker to the puck. They were hitting harder. They acted like they wanted it more, and it was a great game. And game two, the Stars lost in overtime, but I kind of feel like I wasn't discouraged. It wasn't a bad loss. I feel like they played well. And when a team's the lower seed, Lance, and you come home after being on the road the first two games.
You got home ice now, babe.
When they come home 1-1, I kind of feel like that's a win.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're playing tonight. You just showed me the score, and I think it said they were down, right?
Yeah, they're down 1-0 in the second period with about 14 minutes left to go in the second period. So a lot of hockey left. So we got more than half the game left.
Right. So the overtime loss in game two obviously took away from a little bit of the excitement. But Dallas's power play has to be better. Jason Spezza is not in the lineup, has not been in the lineup the entire playoffs. He's had a terrible second half of the season. Monty does not trust him for as far as he can throw him. And he may not play ever again for the Stars. And I don't understand that. I don't know what's going on with him. He was one of our best players over the past few years that he's been here. He was kind of the key to our power play. He's got that patented bringing it across the line, drop pass to the guy behind him to set up a shot. And Dallas needs that in the playoffs. They need that against Nashville. They need a guy who can bring the puck forward during the power play, control the puck, and take advantage of the zone time. When you're on the power play, zone time is paramount. You have to spend as much time in your offensive zone as possible. And the Stars have struggled in this series, bringing the puck forward, keeping it in the zone for scoring chances.
I think from what I've seen, and I didn't watch a lot of hockey this year, but I think that's something that they've struggled with pretty much all season is zone time. Is keeping that puck inside the blue line on the attacking side, and it's carried over. But they'll find a way. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago that we both believe, and we're going to continue to believe, and this will be fun.
And Stars have a lot of talent. There's no question. I feel like we need somebody to pick up where Spezza's failed us on the power play. I feel like the power play is going to be instrumental if we're going to beat Nashville. And again, it's all about zone time. We've got Sagan, Radulov, Ben, Klingberg, any one of those guys, pardon me, need to step up, help out on the power play. 1-1 tied going into game three. What do you think the Stars need to do, Lance, to win this game three? They're going to have to make adjustments. Special teams is going to be necessary. But even strength play has to be better. and they have to control the puck. They've shown they can be physical.
I think it's too, as long as Bishop keeps breakdancing like he has been. I mean, that big dude is just. I remember when he came in, whenever we got him a couple of years ago, it was a topic conversation between me and one of my neighbors,
you
Mike,
mentioned that,
and we were both excited about it. He was running around his front yard, excited that Big Ben was coming to Dallas, and we were going to have somebody to fill that gaping hole that we've had for a couple of years. It killed us. I mean, whenever Belfour and Turco were gone, it was pretty much nothing afterwards.
I wasn't the biggest Turco fan. My wife had a huge crush on him, so that kind of shot it for me.
Your wife has a huge crush on me, and he's a whole lot prettier than I am. So I mean, it's just
that's true. Turco was a great goalie. We never did anything under him, and it might not have been his fault, but we deserved at least one cup under his reign, and it never happened. So Dallas, I feel like they're going to split up the lines here in Game 3, and we're not watching it. But I'll go back and watch I'm recording it, of course. I'll go back and watch it. They're going to split up the lines again, which they needed to do. They went back to the Ben, Sagan, and Radulov line in Game 2. I feel like they're going to split that back up again like they did in Game 1 to give a little bit of scoring opportunities on the second line. We got to have two good defensive lines again, and it's going to be defense, and it's going to be zone time. And I pray to God we can get past Nashville. I was confident going into the series, and I'm still confident. I just feel like the Stars.
You should be more confident now. I mean, we came back to our eyes with home ice advantage. I mean, that means something in the NHL.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, and
more,
it does.
more than it should. Imagine if the fans in Dallas were as rabid as they were when we won the Cup. I mean,
God,
dude, it was assholes to elbows in that place, and it was the loudest place in America. It was dumb.
And what's funny is Dallas, I don't want to say they struggled to embrace hockey, but they were not the most, dude, what was going on in the mid-90s in Dallas, sports-wise?
Right in the middle of the Cowboys' heyday, man.
The Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. So
nobody really cared.
Who had time for a hockey team that no one had ever heard of and a sport that no one ever watched? But, by the late 90s, the Cowboys' shimmer had gone away. Aikman was bad. Irvin was retiring. Or not retiring, but getting hurt.
Emmett was gone.
Emmett was gone. So by the time the start, and you know what? Dallas loves champions. And they will embrace the champions. So
yes, they will.
Hockey being one of the four major sports, Dallas embraced it. I embraced it immediately when they moved here. But, dude, we need to relive that. Dallas is due for, especially since the Cowboys have been so bad, no Mavericks championship since 2011. Rangers were close, didn't win anything. This city is due for some sort of champion. I don't know anything about soccer in FC Dallas. I don't really care. I don't know if I'd even consider that a major city championship.
Well,
sorry, Gavin. Yeah. Is soccer a sport?
Maybe we need to get Gavin on here to talk it up a little bit and give us some some of that inside information that he has.
He can do 60 minutes on soccer.
Well, they won't give him a minute on the show, so
no, he gets a little. He gets some resistance when he tries to do his 60 seconds.
That's all right. Hey, Gavin, come over here and talk to me about it. Teach me the game.
So we'll see where the Stars go. Bishop has to stand on his head throughout the rest of the series, and we'll see where we go. We're going to run into a juggernaut eventually in Winnipeg if we advance here. That's going to be rough. But, hey, go Stars. We're excited about you. We're glad you're in the playoffs, and we're watching every minute except for right now while we're podcasting. So
it will be on when we get done here. But because right now the Rangers are up, last I saw was like 11-4. Is that right, Andrew?
Crap. Well, that's good. They were down 4-1 early in the game. I think they allowed 3 or 4 runs in the first inning.
Shelby Miller was on the mound.
Poor Shelby.
Hometown boy, Brownwood, Texas, man.
Shelby needs a hug, man. Somebody give Shelby a hug.
He'll come around. Give him a minute. Give him a minute.
I think he will too. So, aside from the Stars and Dirk, I don't know that there's really much to talk about. There wasn't anything really going on this weekend anywhere.
No, it's kind of a dull weekend. The weather got cold and everybody had to sit inside and watch TV, and there really wasn't anything to watch. But
I think CBS was running infomercials all weekend because they didn't have anything else to show, right?
Jim Nance was broadcasting something about was it the putt championship? Was that what it was?
Was it the long drive or the putt-putt?
Hey, the long drive championship's fun to go to.
Hey, Jim Nance and Vern Lundquist. Oh my gosh,
That may be a podcast trip that we have to make and do a WinStar.
Oh yeah,
World Long Drive Championship. I was
Do
up
it
there.
live.
I was up there last year and met some of those guys, Frampton and some of the. I was talking to the senior guys because the younger guys didn't even want to talk to me. But
wait, Peter Frampton is in the long drive championship.
It's not Peter Frampton, no, but Mark Frampton is, and he,
Okay, not the English musician,
no.
the guitar and the mouth thing. Okay, my bad.
Peter Frampton couldn't hit a golf ball with his guitar.
I hate Peter Frampton, by the way. Keep your mouth out of your guitar.
We're going to hell.
Probably so. So obviously the 2019 Masters
There'll
was
be
this
good
weekend.
music there, though.
Maybe. Johnny Cash is there, so it helps. They're both in hell. We know that. 2019 Masters won by none other than Eldrick Woods. And if you listen to episode 5, our Masters preview, I don't think his name came up like more than one or two times.
I told you that was my heart pick. It wasn't my head pick. It was my heart pick.
Did you really believe that though?
Yes, I did. I mean, I wanted to believe it. And after seeing him win the Tour Championship last year, he found his groove, man. He found his groove, and he's striking the ball well. He made some comments during his post round press conference. He starts priming for the Masters 6 months ahead of time. And
like historically, or like you think he's been doing that since the 90s every year? Other than
I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet that he does. I mean, it's the first major of the year. It's always the first major of the year.
Do you think that's the most important major to him?
I think it is. I really do. Being that that's the best of the best play. I mean, anybody else has an opportunity to play the others. They have, there's qualifiers for the U.S. Open. There's qualifiers for the Open, the British Open. The PGA Championship. Taking nothing against the great members of the PGA. There's other guys in that aren't the best of the best. And to be in the Masters, you have to win. You have to and prove yourself. And he knows that's the biggest, toughest major to win on one of the toughest golf courses. And they keep trying to make it tougher. And I guarantee you, the next couple of years, with these kids that are coming, and as far and as hard as they hit the ball, Augusta's going to be making more changes. It's going to get longer.
Really?
At one point, they had to Tigerify the golf course.
Right.
Whenever Tiger came in, and now these young guys, you got Dustin Johnson and guys like that are just flat smoking the ball, and Tiger really can't keep pace.
These guys are good. When they're a commercial or promo for PGA,
Yep.
These guys are. You know what I remember? I don't remember who it was, but they were filming some golfer in a grocery store parking lot in front of a grocery cart, and he was like, and he pushed the cart, and you saw it rolling like into the cart receptacle thing. Dude, that was one of the greatest commercials ever. So,
but yes, they will. Augusta will be making some changes probably within the next year or so. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that they'll make some changes pretty soon. But I'd be willing to bet within the next couple of 3 years there'll be some major changes made on the golf course, and they'll find ways to lengthen it, narrow it down, something.
But how will that affect Tiger, do you think?
Well, I mean, Tiger's sitting at 15. He's shooting for at least 19 because he's got to get to 18.
Got 3 more to go.
He's got to get to 18.
He's 43 years old. He's the oldest. Is it oldest Masters or oldest major winner since Jack? I can't remember.
Not sure. I would.
He's
think,
the oldest something since Jack. I don't know if it was major or Masters winner.
But anyway, I think that they're going to be making some changes, and it'll affect it'll affect Tiger a little bit, but I mean, whenever his game is on, there's not a stick in his bag that he can't hit. Well, and and there's not a shot that he doesn't have. And this week proved it. He proved that he can hit. He can hit that patented low stinger that he had. He can hit the high fade, the high draw. He knows those greens as well, if not better than anybody out there. And this week proved it, man. He's back. He's got his confidence, and
he's got his health.
He's got his health, and for once, and I was not, I've always been a Tiger fan, but I was not a fan of the man.
Right.
And
yeah, I'm right there with you. I was a big Tiger fan early on in the 90s.
All the bad stuff came down, and he, got his name run through the ringer, and he got attacked with a 9-iron, and
rightfully so.
2 years
Depending
ago,
on where you're at.
2 years ago, got picked up for a DUI, but I think the man has found humility, and that press conference that I listened to on the radio after the tournament, he's more interactive, he's more jovial, he laughs at himself,
he's more mature.
It's humility, and
he's got kids now. Act like it.
Yeah, and
that's something else.
Humility makes a man. And, so he's back. Tiger's back.
The emotions of him, winning. Of course, that was emotional. That wasn't a SportsCry moment for me. Him winning, it was. Of course, he was leading, coming up 18, and you knew all he had to do was bogey, and he was going to win, which he did. And
that's all he had to do.
That's all he had to do.
And that's that's something that he talked about in his press conference. He knew that when he hit that second shot, he was hitting to a spot, and all he knew was that he needed to get whenever that he didn't hit the spot he wanted to hit, right? But he knew that he needed to get up and down, and once he got on the green, he had 2 putts, and a lot of people, that par putt, when he hit it, people went nuts, and he missed, but he knew that all he wanted was about 12 inches to roll that in and celebrate.
Right.
And the man got to do it, and he got to celebrate with his mom and his kids, and I think there were more pros, former winners, and tour members standing in the gallery waiting on Tiger to finish than I had ever seen before. And
yeah.
It was amazing.
Absolutely,
it was cool to see those young guys and the old guys welcome him back into the fold and say, boy, we're happy to have you.
Well, because the old guys played with him in his prime and despised him because he took all the championships.
But they should have loved him because he's the one that gave them the opportunity to make the kind of money that he made, because he took golf to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Raised the purses for each tournament, increased viewership, increased attendance at each tournament. Trust me, the PGA knows that. And the older guys that were there watching him on 18, again, they were reminiscing. They were like, "Here, this is the Tiger that we know and we love." The young guys that were there were like probably in awe, because this is the Tiger we grew up watching, that we idolized, that we wanted to be like, that we wanted to play like, and we're actually witnessing this in person.
Right.
And for them, that might be one of their greatest things as a pro, other than winning, or we're getting to witness that, and I can only imagine.
You think he'll be feared again?
Oh, absolutely. After last weekend,
I remember, whenever anybody, if he was in the final group, whoever he was playing with, if those guys,
they were terrified,
thought they had a chance, they were done soon, because the mob following Tiger and the exhibition that he would put on. They would do the
Tiger chant.
They would do the El Foldo, and
talk to Ernie Els about that.
Molinari, bless his heart, he hit that that shot into 12,
so
and just ate a turd sandwich right there in front of God and everybody, and it was done. I mean, he was done, and Tiger, being a professional, walked the fairway with a stone face.
No emotion.
And and got there, but inside he had to be smiling a little bit, saying, I got his ass.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, Molinari had no chance playing with Tiger.
Got to be that good at something.
Well, I'm pretty good at podcasting, just not setting up.
I'm good at this.
Good at that too. So yes, Tiger is back. Wanted to talk a little bit about how this was a little different than the other majors that he's won, but it was also similar at the same time. So, he shot a 70 on Thursday. In his previous 4 Masters victories, he had also shot a 70 on Thursday. He was also 11 under after 54 holes, and each time that he'd won before that, he'd been either there or better after 54 holes. And so there were some consistencies to his wins with this, but again, it was kind of a different win because on Sunday.
Are you trying to give me analytics in golf?
Yeah, because I'm giving you Tiger analytics. So if you remember his other 4 Masters wins, he was leading going into the final round.
Right. Yeah, he's never. I mean, it's one of the. Besides being a great comeback for the tournament itself, or a great comeback for the man himself, it's a great comeback for the tournament itself. I mean, yes, the man was playing
Excitement.
the man was playing in the final group, and he got to stare down the guy above him, and he put it on him. And it was fun, man. It's
We've never seen that with Tiger at the Masters or at a major because he's used to leading going into the last round, and it's all defensive.
Right.
It's aggressive, but his play is defensive. Dude, this weekend, he was the aggressor. He had to play catch-up. He had to be better. And, man, I don't know if it's intimidation, inexperience by the other players, but good God, he was just better than everybody. And it was fun to watch.
It's going to be a fun year of golf. It's going to be a fun year of golf, and we got the President's Cup coming up this year, and the Ryder Cup next year, and Tiger's already back up to. I don't remember where he is exactly. I think he's number 12 in the
rankings.
12 in the overall world rankings right now, but he won't be in double digits long, and he'll be jumping at Rosie and DJing before too long.
And you know what? Rightfully so. I couldn't be more ecstatic. Honestly, I was a fan of Tiger, like we talked about in the '90s. Just the biggest fan of Tiger. And when he went through all his personal stuff and his injuries, I'd kind of written him off. I'd kind of decided, you know what? It was a good run. He's going to end his majors at 14, and he'll never be good at golf again, either because of his head or his injuries, one or the other.
The man talked about during his press conference over time, his kids only saw him playing golf or only saw him with a golf club in his hand when he hurt. And there were times that his kids saw him make a swing and would go to his knees. And he wanted more than anything. I don't know that he wanted it more than to win another major or win another Masters, but he wanted more than anything for his kids to see him in person, win that tournament, and show them the joy that it brought to him and the rest of his family, him and Earl and his mama and everybody else that had followed him. But now his kids see, and that embrace with
that's huge
with his kid at the end, and it was cool, and I loved seeing it.
So how about the image that CBS put up on the screen, the side-by-side of him hugging his dad? What was it, a 97 when he won? 98, 97, 98. I can't remember.
Around there.
Yeah. Him hugging
No, it was
his dad.
90. It was 11 years, so it was 98.
So him hugging his dad, and then the next on the other side was him hugging his kid this year.
Yep.
Like I just that and I'm telling you, I told you, like when he was walking up, when he won, I did the SportsCry. I did, but when he went up and he was hugging his son, I don't know how old his kid is. His son's got to be what, 5, 6?
Yeah.
He's little.
Yeah, he's young.
Dude, that's when I was like, I lost. I mean, I have kids, so little kids, so I get it, and that's when I lost it, and I think that's when Tiger became more human again, and he became just a regular guy sharing a moment with his kids, and that was when the SportsCry moment happened. It wasn't when he won. It was when I saw him hugging his mom and his daughter and his son and his friends that were there. That was the special part. So, an interesting part about the Masters, and again, you mentioned what Tiger's done for the game. I feel like the Masters would have the $11.5 million purse today that they had if it wasn't for Tiger coming up.
there wouldn't be a golf tournament. There wouldn't be a golf tournament around. I mean, yes, there's a difference, but no, there's not a difference. I mean, if you look at the PGA Tour and you look at the Champions Tour and the LPGA, the purse difference in those between the PGA Tour and the other two is light years. It's night and day, and it's because of the sponsorships and the money that Tiger brings with the viewership on TV. That's the reason that those guys are now making the money that they do, and the reason they're on the front page of the sports. I mean, used to whenever we were kids, unless it was Jack winning the Masters or Arnie winning something, then it was tucked away on page 3 of the startlegram, and we never really saw it. So that's the golf world can thank Tiger, and Tiger's back.
So I wanted to cover the winnings, how that purse was dispersed. We talked about in our Masters preview how much money these guys make, and oh my gosh, these so-and-so's made $500,000 or $2 million since the start of the season. The Masters, I don't know. Does it have the highest payout of any tournament?
I'm not sure, but I'd be willing to venture a guess that yes, it does.
I can't imagine there's another tournament, another major, much less any other tournament that's got an $11.5 million total purse. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, break it down. How does that get paid out? How does that get dispersed? And the article that I found only went down the top 50 places. And I don't know how many final players there are in the final round. Can't be much more than 50, but no, it can't be that much more. So 50th place, and I don't know who that was. I didn't look it up. I don't really care. 50th place in the Masters earns $28,980 for the 4 days of work.
That'll buy enough beer for our podcast for about 6 months.
That is not a bad earning
no, it's not,
for
no.
4 days of work. I mean, understand.
You just drink a whole lot of beer.
You got to pay your caddy, unless you're that one dude. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll stop talking about that.
Even Phil gave him shit. Did you see that on Twitter?
Yes.
I mean,
and it was funny.
It was funny. It was great funny. But
poor Kuchar.
Come on, Cooch. I got you, buddy. I got you.
And you know what? These guys are contractors. They pay for their own expenses. They pay for their own hotel when they're there, their own rent car, their own travel expenses. I get it, but still,
they pay for their own.
You got sponsors too, but you know what? $28,000, almost $29,000 to get 50th at the Masters. That's not bad. 25th place. I'm not going to go through all these. 25th place jumps up to $101,200.
That's not a bad year's annual salary.
Again, what if you just played the Masters and you're done for the year? Golfers can't do that. That's ridiculous. They have to play every week. And then let's jump up to, when we start mentioning names on this article, dude, I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard of a lot of these people. I'm not going to mention their. Oh, Phil Mickelson apparently tied for. Phil Mickelson and Adam Scott tied for 18th at $161,000 each. I didn't realize he finished that far back, but he did. And then you get into. I was going to do the top 10, but this stalls out at number 9. Patrick Cantlay, the great Canadian, who was in the hunt for a little bit, and Richie Fowler. $310,500 for tying for 9th.
Good for Ricky.
Yeah, good for Ricky, man. That's a good weekend.
I believe Ricky will win one of these Masters before it's said and done.
Dude, I like Ricky Fowler.
He's a good kid, and he's got a real pretty fiance, and
that's what's important.
But he's got a good game, and he's fun to watch, and he's great with the kids, man. When you see him, whenever he finishes a round, he will stand and sign autographs until his hand hurts and then keep signing it. He's awesome for the game.
No, I like Ricky Fowler.
The old motorcycle racer.
So that was 9th. And then you get tied for 5th. Jason Day, Webb Simpson, Molinari, and was it Tony Finau?
Tony Finau.
Finau. I couldn't remember how to pronounce his name.
Finau got his start on the Big Break, the reality golf show. On the golf show.
And he's good.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely he's good.
Played with Tiger in the final round.
Could vomit.
$403,937.50 each. I guarantee you, Tony Finau ain't used to making that kind of money on his reality show.
Oh no, he didn't make that much money on his reality show, but
he's a good golfer. He's pretty consistent.
He got a tournament shot. And
Yeah, he's up there.
he's earned it.
The runners up. So tied for second, Dustin Johnson. Xander, what is it? Schaffel?
Xander Schauffele.
Schauffele.
Yep.
I remember.
His dad is his coach.
And then my buddy, Brooks Koepka.
That dude's a hoss.
I do love Brooks.
That dude's a hoss.
$858,666.67 for coming in second.
It's not a bad.
You don't get a green jacket.
It's not a bad first loser.
You don't get a green jacket, but you get a freaking huge check. I'd probably take it. And, of course, Tiger Woods rounding out everybody. Total purse for Tiger, $2,070,000. Not a bad payday for Tiger. I don't know where he stands financially. I know he lost a lot of sponsors. I'm pretty sure he's still got a lot of irons in the fire money-wise. I'm pretty sure he's not hurting for money.
No.
But
No.
So for him, the green jacket more than outweighs the money, the check that he's getting. But
Absolutely.
so that rounds out the money paid out for the Masters. It was a great Masters. One that we're going to remember for a while, especially because it's the same weekend as the Dirk thing, and all of these things happen at the same time. We're lucky to have these things happening at the same time, so we can
It's a great
do a
time of year,
podcast.
man. It's a great time of year. If only football was a little bit more involved, but we do have the draft coming up, and we're going to have to get into that a little bit later on.
The draft is coming up, and it's too bad we don't have any AAF football to talk about. I'm pretty sure the championship weekend was supposed to be either this weekend or last. And I'm pretty sure the San Antonio probably would have beat Memphis. So we're just going to call San Antonio the champions of the AAF that never finished. Man, I enjoy the AAF.
No, I'm just saying San Antonio.
Yeah, I hate San Antonio. Me and Charles Barkley hate San Antonio. Mike
Just
Bassett.
so many battles, but after the send off they gave Dirk, I got to give them some props. And maybe I would pull for them because they were the Texas team, but we got XFL coming up, and Arlington's going to have a team.
Will that see the same fate as the AAF?
I don't know.
We got Bob Stoops.
Hopefully. I mean, how do you start again? We may have talked about this last week or week before, but whenever the El Foldo of the AAF came, but how do you start a league? How do you start a business? And you take people away from their families and you hire them on and tell them you're going to give them X amount of dollars, and you don't have X amount of dollars stashed away to make sure that these people get paid for the full year that you signed them for. That you take them away from their daily jobs. I mean, these guys may be.
And these guys were not NFL players. They were working at Home Depot and Kroger.
Wherever. They may be making decent salaries, working in corporate America. And you take them away from that, and then all of a sudden, 6+ weeks in, you say, kick rocks. And they don't get anything else. I mean, the coaches to the the training staff, the front office people, the players, all of them, they were all screwed. And I think it was it's a bad business move, and hopefully somebody learned the damn lesson of it.
Well, and it's interesting. Steve Spurrier, of course, one of the coaches in the league, came forward a couple days.
The old ball coach.
Former Heisman winner, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Came forward a couple days later and said that everything about the AAF was completely misrepresented to him when he became involved. And you know what? I don't doubt that.
I don't know that anybody that was on a team or in an organization that wasn't in the front office of the AAF would say anything different. I mean, because that man is not afraid to share his feelings.
Nope.
But I would be willing to bet that he's not the only one that thinks that. Probably 95% of them think
What about Johnny Football, man? He came into the league. And I'm sure they didn't have to beg him because they're paying him out the butt. But
was it Johnny Football's fault the league folded?
No, of course not. Johnny Football is an angel. Nothing bad could ever happen to that person. If anything, he would have saved the league. But you know what? He played 2 weeks.
He'd have saved the league or had
Should've
everybody on fucking dope before it was over.
He doesn't do dope, sir. And by the way, the fact that you said do dope shows how old you are. Is that even a thing anymore?
I don't even care.
Hey, how many of y'all do dope?
The fact
Sound
is,
like my dad.
I don't. But good. I'm somebody's dad.
Hey, son, don't do dope.
I'm somebody's dad, and I do care. But dude, come on.
Love me some Johnny Football. Greatest quarterback of all time.
He was fun to watch whenever he was straight and sober and not stupid. I think he might have been always stupid, but
there's no question he was always. He came from an oil family. They were all stupid.
Well, he had Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. So
why didn't Cliff hire him in fucking Arizona?
You know what? Maybe he gets a tryout. He gets a tryout to back up. Who's what's it from?
It won't be Josh Rosen.
What's her fucking from?
Oh wait, who's
Oklahoma?
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
All right, we've officially had enough to drink. We cannot remember anybody's name, and we're sorry.
So, but you know what, Johnny had some words of wisdom for all of his AAF buddies.
We cannot remember the guy who's going to be drafted first.
What the fuck, dude? From Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Kyler Murray.
Yes, there you go. Woo, Alan Eagle.
Hey, by the way, former Aggie grade, just like Johnny.
No, he was not a former Alligator.
Yes,
he
played for A&M.
He suited up and stood on the damn sideline.
No, he played. Him and Kenny Hill, the two greatest quarterbacks for A&M ever.
Speaking of dumbasses.
Hey, what about
let's not get off into that. We're talking about a dumbass.
Wait, which one?
Kenny Hill. The dude, dude was off the chain.
Yeah.
He went, played ball for Coach Patterson, and I don't know how that dude reined him in.
No, he screwed that up too.
Just dumb. I remember during football season last year or year before last, and my little brother being back in the bedroom, and I could hear him screaming at the TV, bitching about Kenny Hill, about how stupid he was, the dumb decisions he makes, the errant passes, just idiot, an idiot off and on the field, just dumb.
That's funny because his dad, man, I loved his dad. That was a great picture for the Rangers.
Yes, he was.
I loved Kyler Murray's dad when he played for A&M. It's funny because I went and saw at Gerald J. Ford, Gerald R. Ford Stadium. Where the SMU stadium is. Not the president Gerald Ford, the other Gerald Ford. I can't whatever, J or R. We went, my brother and nephew and I went and saw A&M play SMU there when Kenny Hill was starting quarterback. Dude, it was, of course we went as Aggie fans, not as Mustang fans. And it was ugly, man. A&M just dominated. And Kenny Hill threw everything he wanted to. He'd run everywhere he wanted to.
He was a Heisman Trophy front runner after
should
that.
Have been.
And no, he was.
No, he should.
They started talking about him being, in the Heisman Trophy race, and totally shit the bed.
That didn't last very long. All right, so we agree the greatest quarterbacks in A&M history of all time are Johnny Manziel, Bucky Richardson, and Ryan Tannehill. Now that we agree on all of that. All right, we're going to wrap things up unless you got something else.
No, I don't have anything else, man.
We appreciate everybody that was here on Facebook Live with us. We appreciate everybody that's listening to this on whatever your favorite podcast venue, platform, whatever it is. We hope everybody enjoyed this on Facebook Live. It will be posted into all of eternity for the replay. It will also go on our YouTube channel.
We can't delete this after somebody else downloads it.
God, no, I don't think that's how the internet works.
My wife's going to be so mad.
My wife's not going to watch it, so I'm good. She's at home passed out after her wine night with her girlfriends probably already. So, again, this is episode 6.
Check on her.
You can go check on her. I'll stay here and talk to everybody if you want. I live 4 minutes away.
Yeah, I can walk there.
You can walk there. That'll be a long walk, but you can walk there.
I'll be out of beer bottles.
We will. Here, we got to show this.
I'm not putting.
Hey, this is our beer. In this, it's full of ice and beer, and it is glorious.
I think we're out of beer though. So
what?
We need. It's getting close. Stick it down in there.
Oh, hey,
is there 2 in there?
Yeah, we got 2.
Let's crack them.
We got 2.
I have no idea what the absolutely count was last week, but I hope y'all have enough. And I've added another couple of ones. So here's an absolutely great beer opening, Cliff. Here's another one for you, Bubba, since you couldn't hear it the last time. Love y'all. Thanks for joining us. Drunk dudes and dolls.
Drunk sports podtards. We don't know if that's going to stick here or not. It's kind of degrading.
Shit, who cares? We're having fun. We love each other. Thank y'all. Y'all take care of each other. And God bless. Take us out of here, Timmy.
We love you as much as we love each other. And that's all we have to say. Oh, that was gay. Why am I saying that?
Gay.
God almighty. I gotta have a good ender.
Man,
You usually do the ending.
I hope Ben. Okay,
Do the ending.
look, love each other, take care of each other. Just remember, make somebody happy tomorrow. Make somebody smile. I don't care. Make somebody cuss. At least you made a difference in the world. God bless you, Benny. Take us out of here.